on, you have to accept that. We've got several people that are on vacation. Let me get back to the beginning there, but different people doing things. The Finkelsteins are off to Mississippi, and I think Jackie Scott is going to be out tonight. A lot of different people. So if you have a chance and you want to tell them that they're missed and wish them safe travels, please feel free to do that. So I am so excited about tonight. It's one of my very, very favorite weeks. And this week we are in week 4 of intention. And I see people popping on here. Let's see, everybody's joining. Perfect. Just making sure I'm getting everybody in here. I see Ernie's on, Janice is on, Brooke is here, Cody's here, Jamie's here. Awesome. It's so good to see all of your beautiful souls tonight. And I'm so excited about this one. I put some fun stuff in there. Y'all know how I like to do fun things. I see some people are not muted. So if you don't mind, go ahead and mute yourself so we can respect everybody's space tonight and be sure that everyone can hear the content because it's so good. All right. Let me see here. Intention 4. I can't believe we're in the 4th week. So let's get into this. And those of y'all that know what we're doing, we're on a year-long program. Those of y'all that are here, go ahead and hit mute. Oh, you know what? Let me just mute everybody. I'm going to make this really easy. I know some other people are going to hop on too. So I'm going to watch that. Kirsten, I didn't give you the hosting ability. You know what? I could do that, but that's okay. We'll talk about that later this week. All right, so let's get into this. And I'm so excited for tonight. It's going to be great. I see Jamie. Hey, Jamie. So good to see y'all. All right. Tonight is all about living in harmony with your intention. And where your attention goes, energy flows. And when you work with these ideas, these principles, these laws, then you can literally create whatever you want in your life. And it's really pretty simple. It's not easy all the time, but it's really pretty simple. So here is where we're going. Oops, I didn't change the top slide. Overlook that. It's intention 4. But here's where we're going over the next week. So we will do intention 4. And then guess what? Next week, we are hopping into health and well-being. And that encompasses your mental, your physical, your emotional, and your spiritual health and what that looks like. And it's a systematic approach over 4 weeks with your meditations, with your YouTube videos that I send you from me, as well as your audios. So, and then make a note, August the 10th, that'll be your next, there's some people hopping in here. Let me add them. Apologies. Perfect. Okay, they're hopping in. Anna's here, Andrew's here. Awesome. So good to see y'all. All right, so this is what the next few weeks look like. And then on August 10th, we're going to take another integration week. This is your opportunity to reflect, to go back, to deep dive anything that we've covered so you can integrate it more deeply into your life and really be more conscious of the life that you're looking to create with massive intentionality. So, oh, good. There's Dawn. They're all coming in. Okay, so then we've got our deep dive day. And guys, if you're not muted, if you don't mind, go ahead and hit mute. I hear some of y'all coming on. So good to see y'all tonight. All right, so deep dive day is going to be on September 15th. So mark your calendars. That's going to be from about 10 in the morning to about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, depending on how quickly we go. But you're going to receive a goodie box in the mail from me with all of the tools that you need to create amazing, tangible and tactical tools to create and design a life that you love personally and professionally. So you're going to want to definitely mark your calendar for that. Many of y'all are on here. You've worked with me one-on-one, one-to-one. Many of y'all, I mean, some of us have worked for 2 to 3 years together. So this is nothing that you've ever seen before. I'm going to give you new, tangible, tactical tools to take and integrate into your life. So you're going to want to really be there for that. All right, let's look at bold actions for last week where y'all grounded it. You said, this is where I'm going to show up. This is where I'm going to play full out. And this is what we had in the chat last week. So Ernie, look over that. It starts with you. We've got Janice, April, Jackie, all of y'all, amazing actions. Now, if you did this, great. Celebrate yourself. Give yourself a great big pat on the back. If you did not, Remove judgment and maybe figure out why you didn't. What didn't, did it not resonate with you? Did it not really take you in the direction of your dream? So judgment free zone. And if it still resonates with you and you want to do it, the one that you put down last week, then move forward this next week and do that. So no harm, no foul. I see you, April. No harm, no foul. You know, I love your face. All right. So let's get into this. And oh gosh, it looks like my videos. Oh, there they are. They're working. I had that problem last week. So let's get into this. Let's calibrate a little bit. So put your feet on the floor. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to do some deep breathing. This just gets us into a space where we have released all the bothers of the world. We come together and we really get intentional about what we're doing here tonight. So if you don't mind, just put your feet on the floor, sit up straight. I'm going to invite you to take a really deep breath in through your nose. Hold that breath for a minute. And then let it out through your mouth like blowing through a straw. And just let go. Let go of all the day's worries. Anything that may be racing through your mind or you feel like you need to do or you have to do, just let go. This is your time. This is your space to get focused and intentional. Take another breath in through your nose. Hold that breath and let it out. And just be so grateful, grateful that we get to share space tonight, that we get to be here tonight. I know I'm grateful for each and every one of y'all that are here tonight. And one last deep breath, make it a good one. Hold that breath for a minute. Feel that oxygen in your lungs, the power that you have breathing, and let that breath out. Just fully relax. And just think about all the possibilities that this week has popped up for you, personally, professionally. I know I've had several. And did you walk through that door of opportunity? Did you walk through that possibility, or did you let your fears get the best of you? Just think about that for a minute and just let go of it. Let go of the fears and embrace what you would love your life to look like. Beautiful. All right. Perfect. Come back to the now. And we are going to, way to calibrate, we're going to calibrate a little bit more. Let's think about some intention now. So last week, as we exited our session, I invited you to pick an intention. What is something in your life that you're having some discontent about or some longing for something different? And focus on that. What would you love it to look like? If time, if money, if resources were a non-issue, what would you absolutely love that part of your life to look like? And then I invited you to write down any kind of limiting things that were popping up. Well, I can't do that. I hear it all the time. I can't XYZ because of XYZ, right? And we build these stories around it. We have this narrative running through our head. And it's very important when that happens that you pause it and you write a replacement thought that absolutely supports what you would love it to look like versus what you're scared that it's going to turn out to be. So hopefully you did that. Hopefully you got into your life work this past week and you got really clear in the 4 quadrants of your life: mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. What would you love it to look like? And then whenever those limiting thoughts come up, you say up until now, and you write a replacement thought. You install a new operating system on your synaptic pathways. So this is where quantum physics, this is where physiology meets spiritualism. And when you do that, you are working with unlimited power. It's really amazing. So amazing. Great group of people coming in. Cynthia coming in right now. All right. So let's get into this a little bit. I want you to think about your daily content. So one of my most favorite quotes from my mentor, my predominant mentor, Mary Morrissey, she has a great quote, and it says, and many of y'all can quote it with me, the content of your life is the curriculum of your evolution. So when you are consciously aware enough, you are able to create and design a life that you love living. You don't default back, you pick, you choose, and you decide for your life in the now, in the moments. You don't worry about the past. You don't look back and fret and shame and guilt and blame. You don't look forward and wish and want. You stay in the now, in this present space. And that daily content, it literally helps you move to the next place of the greatness that you were created for. So what this does is it gives us direction. We can directly affect every moment in our life when we're that intentional about what we're doing. And we begin to view problems or perceived problems and obstacles in a completely different way. See, most of us walk around as thinking, well, that happened, so that must be a sign I'm not supposed to do that. We look at it as some magical, mystical omen that something bad happened, so I'm not supposed to do that. That's not how this is. When you get your mind around how it works, they're simply guidelines. And what it really means is just not this way. Go a different way. So it directly shows you the direction of the way to go to get to the very life that you would love living. It's also very distinctly definite to you. We all have a different pathway. No two of us here tonight, and there's several of us on tonight, no two of us are alike. I have never, in all the people that I've worked with, hundreds and hundreds of people, I've never seen two dreams that are exactly alike because we are all created uniquely and for a specific greatness, for a specific expression in the world. So it's distinctly unique to you. And then it's very, very, very powerful. So when you dial into the power within you that's breathing you every day, you can call it God, source, spirit. When you dial into that, your power is untapped. You absolutely can create and design anything you want in the face of adversity, in the face of problems. All that is a smoke and mirrors game to keep you stuck, to keep you overwhelmed, and keep you without any efficacy in your world. All right, so who knows who this guy is? He's so awesome. He talks about this, and I love Jim Carrey. I'm a big laugher. I'm a big cut up, y'all know if you've worked with me, fun is my core value. So, and many of y'all have adopted that core value, and we have had a lot of fun together. But Jim Carrey nails it here, and he gives this commencement speech to this university as an invited guest, and he literally nails it. So watch me as we watch Jim Carrey. Oh, you know what I did? I did not share the sound. I just remembered that. Pause just a moment, y'all, and let me share the sound on this. Apologies. My technotard self is showing up. My human is showing up is what's going on, and that's absolutely okay. So let me get out of this for just a second. Thanks for your patience with me. Hold on. Escape the full screen. Hold on. Apologies. I cannot manage this. Hold on. Pause. Kirsten, I'm going to let you do this next week. He's talking, but y'all can't hear him. Okay, there we go. Perfect. No problem. I've got it now. Thanks, y'all. Y'all know how I am about this. I love to teach, but sometimes the technical part gets the best of me. All right, I've got it working now. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for your patience. Let's go back. All right.
You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant, and when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job, and our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
So good. So, you might as well take a chance. So let's talk about some ways that we can practice this and then we can absolutely get in flow. So have y'all all had that feeling where you are maybe paddling upstream, you're doing all the things, you're taking advice from people, and you maybe are even polling your friends, your mentors, whoever, and you're trying to get advice, but you still feel like you have this resistance, right? And those of y'all that have been through my mastery level program, working with the law, we've talked about the law of no resistance. So we want to get into the flow. And this is what Jim Carrey's talking about, that we do what the world tells us. We get practical, we get reasonable. And then what happens? We begin to feel like we're paddling upstream because we're not in a vision of what we would love for our life to look like. So let's talk about getting into the flow of things tonight with intentionality. So practicing non-resistance is a practice. So let's be very clear about this. It's a law. It's an overarching law of the universe. And when you practice non-resistance, then you get in the flow. And that's that sweet spot. And all of y'all that I've worked with one-on-one, we've talked about this, and you will flat tell me, you can tell in your physiological being, in your biology, in your biological makeup, that when you're not in flow, you feel it. I know that I do. When my fears are rising up, when things are happening. I actually had a great conversation with a client today. He may or may not be on here. And we talked about this very thing for about 30 minutes, and it was really remarkable. But here's some ways that you can facilitate a non-resistant spirit. So you can welcome all the goodness that God, that universe, that your life force has for you. So release the resistance. Everything is neutral, guys. How many of y'all have heard me say this? Nothing's bad or good unless you call it bad or good. There is no bad or good, even the worst thing. So let me give you kind of a plumb line for that, a litmus paper test. I had just come back from traveling around Europe a couple of years ago, had my car, and I don't think Dr. Steve's on here tonight, but he's part of the story. When y'all's co-author, those of y'all that are authors in the book. But when I was driving down toward my office to go to work, I stopped at a stoplight and boom, I mean, this lady completely rear-ended me. So she was going so fast. Immediately, I thought, what was that? It was a shock. I didn't see her coming. And then immediately, I released resistance. I didn't go to the place of, oh, hell, what just happened? Or wow, I literally said, okay, great. So what's next? And it wound up to be a magical experience. I was on the way to see Dr. Steve for some chiropractic stuff, which is ironic. I wound up getting a whole bunch of treatment, and it was covered. And then my car got repaired for free. It was really a blessing in disguise. And this lady and I actually became friends. I didn't view it as bad as I was a victim of somebody else's actions. So just know that anything and everything that happens to you or through you has a seed of greatness in it. And we have a choice of perception to see that and to lean into that. That's non-resistance. So let go. Let go. Free your inner idiot that is trying to sabotage you. And it will tell you you're not pretty enough. You're not smart enough. You don't have what it takes. You don't have the credentials. You don't have the education. And go and lean into what you would love life to look like for you. Okay. And then the second step, how do you practice and get into flow once you are non-resistance? Wake up. Hit the pause button and notice what you're noticing. So how many of y'all type in the chat, you're pretty good in noticing what you're noticing? I know some of y'all are so proficient at it. What's something that you noticed today? This is your observer self. This is the Buddhist, right? Observer self tool. And all religions actually have it. I'm not religious, but at the end of the day, all religions have where you pause, you get still, and you reflect, right? Because here's the kicker. What you focus on is where energy and attention shows up. Universe doesn't know bad or good. It simply says, hey, Laura's interested in that. So we're going to bring that to Laura. And all the puzzle pieces begin to come together to create exactly what I'm focused on or what you're focused on. Because life shows up consistent to what you're committed to. So if you're committed to being broke, you will be broke. If you're committed to being a badass and running a beautiful business, you'll be that. If you're committed to being committed in a loving relationship, you'll be that. If you are committed to being an amazing parent that's non-judgmental and supported, that's exactly what you're going to get. Because where energy flows, that's where the attention is. So if you're not happy with the results in your life right now in some area, maybe health and well-being, time and money freedom, job, hobbies, whatever it is, romantic relationships, personal relationships, colleague relationships, if you're not happy with it, that result is manifesting because you put a certain level of committed attention and intention on that. So notice what you're noticing. Your thoughts will always show up and manifest in the physical realm. So then shape them. Guess what? The good news is once you become aware to what's going on, then you can be committed. Then you can create through your thinking what you would love your life to look like. So how do you do that? You've got to have a blueprint. You can't build a house without a blueprint. If I went out there and I told the builder, I want a house with 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 2 stories on an acre and a half, he wouldn't know what to do with that. I have to come to him with a blueprint, specific measurements, specific details of what I would love my dream home to look like. And so that's where you get committed to that vision. You have to have a very clear blueprint. And those of y'all, you know, we've worked on that. So if you're not happy with the results you're getting right now, go back to the drawing board. Get in your vision, work on your vision statement and your vision board and stay in it every day. Do your mirror work, do your visioning, do your meditation, do your journaling to see what pops up for you so the onion layers can come back and you can become the greatness that you were created for. All right, and then let's talk about this. I love this. This is where most of us trip over, and I love this bridge picture, but we fall over the edge of the bridge, right? Because here's what happens. We have these lofty goals and dreams, whatever it is, you know, we all have it. Like, it can be anything. Just think about yours for a minute. What's the dream you're really, really looking to create right now? And then look, if you did your life work from a couple of weeks ago, you started a beautiful list, a bucket item list of about 50 things that if tomorrow was your last day, what would you love to achieve in life? And it can be personal, it can be professional. And which one of those on that list felt the most expansive? Because that's the key to going where you need to go. That's kind of like your road sign, right? When it feels expansive. So a story behind that, and y'all have heard me say this before, but like when I go to try on clothes, when I'm going to try on clothes, I'm going to buy some clothes, maybe going on a trip or something, this is not a practice that I like. I actually look at it as a waste of time. My time is very valuable. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. So I'm like, I'm making this shit happen. Excuse my French. And I'm like, I'm going in there. I'm going to get the clothes that I need. I'm very intentional about it. So I'll take about 20 things in the dressing room and I'll throw them on. And I mean, let's say I put on a top and I'm like, ew, and I throw it off. I'll put on a dress or some pants or something. Ugh, don't like it. Then maybe I put on this really pretty red dress. And I'm like, oh, I kind of like it. Expanded charge, expanded energy. The other energy was constructive. So I do this work enough that I know that's a green light. That's a thumbs up. I like it. I'm going to lean into that. And then what happens is the next action steps to that are presented at that time. What does that look like practically? I love that dress. It makes me look 10 pounds thinner, makes my legs look long and beautiful. I love that dress. So I'm going to take one in purple, one in black, one in red, right? The action step organically presents itself. I don't even have to ask. And then the next step is like, I need to go get some lipstick, a handbag, and some shoes to match this dress. So this is how it works. So Notice that and notice where you feel expanded. Okay, y'all, if y'all don't mind, just mute yourself for a minute. I'm getting some feedback on my end. So if you're not muted, mute yourself. Okay, perfect. So then put on your dreams like they are yours. And when you do that, you are literally going to dissolve all of the energy that is in direct opposition to what you're doing. And it's very simple. It's really very, very simple. So that's the next thing that you're going to do. So try that on. And maybe you can see that right now as you are thinking about places that you are in flow and you feel like it's happening for you. And you're really in depth in the deeps and the weeds with that expansive church. I have some clients that some of y'all are on here tonight that they get the constrictive and they get the expansive. When you learn that, your life will change. You will literally begin to make new decisions from different places. All right. This is a practice that I absolutely love. This is a practice, and I actually went through this with one of my clients today. She's on here. I'm not going to throw her under the bus, but we talked about facts versus truth. So when you are looking at conditions, when you're looking at things that are around you, it's really easy to get caught up in that and to say, okay, at the level of fact, this is what's going on. So I can't afford my dream home. I can't take that amazing vacation. I can't find the love of my life. I can't have close, deep, abundant relationships with my children because of X, Y, Z. So here's the deal. When you're looking at a fact, that's a condition of the past. So you are making a judgment call based on past patterns that have kept you stuck at the level of greatness that you are right now. So yesterday's good, yesterday's great, I should say, is now today's good because we're always in the constant pull of growth. So if you have some things that yesterday you were hoping, I can tell you right now, the 32-year-old Laura versus the 55-year-old Laura, that 32-year-old Laura that was a single mom with 3 small children, living in an apartment, paying rent one month, paying bills the next, praying to God I didn't get evicted as I worked a makeup counter for $7.25 an hour. That person would love to be the 55-year-old Laura now. So just be mindful that you are constantly practicing this. You're constantly releasing the facts and leaning into your truth of your vision. So then you don't get caught up, you don't get stuck, and you don't look up and 20 years have gone by and you have traded life. So we're not going to deny the facts, but we're going to deny the power that the facts have over you. So at the level of fact, maybe you are divorced, or maybe your kids are estranged from you, or maybe things aren't going in your parenting. You know what it is, or maybe work is not exactly what you would love it to do. That's okay. Those facts are there, but you can build a truth around that and lean into that and take action based on the truth versus the limiting aspects of the fact. So your truth, that's where your hidden potential is. That's where your undeniable power is. And when you lean into that, magic happens. Actually, Albert Einstein has a great quote, and he says that when you become a vibrational match for what you're visioning, for what you want, it must be yours. It's not magic. It's not philosophy. It's physics. It's science. So lean into the vision, lean into the blueprint. It's there for a reason. And then define the difference between your past. And I actually had a great session with another client today, and she's on here too. We talked about her past and how it's keeping her stuck in parenting her beautiful son right now. And she's very aware of it. But you have to define that, and then you have to lean into what you would love it to look like. So differentiate between the past and what you would love your now and your future to look like. All right. And then when you do that, you're organically going to get into harmony with what you would love life to look like for you personally and professionally. And here's the kicker. If you don't have a blueprint, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a dream, and it's down, it's on paper, and you work with it every day and you calibrate it, then you won't know how to do this. So that's a necessary tool that you're going to need. But you have to be that person that you're dreaming of and create a synergy, a calibration, and a harmony with it. So I have a story that I tell every now and again to, and if y'all have read the book, then you know the story. But I remember I was engaged to someone, or we weren't engaged yet, actually, but I had a boyfriend. This has been a couple of years ago. And y'all have heard this story, and this is the best example that I have for this. So every day I did my mirror work, my visioning. And it was a situation where we were on different pages, different wanted different things in life. And so it came to a point where we segued that relationship to friendship, which was great. And I decided my youngest had graduated high school, that I was going to put everything in storage and I was going to travel the world for the year. I joked about it. I said, I'm going to be a citizen of the world. I can work from anywhere. I just open up my laptop and that's what I'm going to do. And so off I went. And the first place I went was Durango, Colorado. And I was there for a month. It's one of my favorite places in the world. If you've never been there, it's a very spiritual place. If you're dialed in, I love it. The Lion's Den on the top of the mountain's awesome. So I went there. And the first weekend, I've got the single girl mode on. I'm like, I'm single. I'm going to go out. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to meet guys. I'm going to make friends. I'm going to do things. So I did. And the first night I was out, I kissed a couple of guys. The second night I was out, kissed a couple of guys. I was having all the fun, right? Then Sunday morning happened. So that was Friday and Saturday, the first weekend I was there. I did some whitewater rafting and some zip lining on Saturday. And then Sunday was going to be my day to relax, recharge, and get my calibration in. So I do my practices. I get up, I get in the mirror, and I say my vision statement. And I say, I'm so happy and so grateful now that I am married to the man of my dreams. He's so into me and I'm so into him. We make our relationship the priority. And I stopped. I was like, holy moly, I have to be the person in the vision. And I really realized immediately that my actions the last 2 days weren't being the vision. I was being the single girl, not the married girl. So I changed it all. I got a ring out of my out of my jewelry bag. I put it on my left hand and I became someone who is married. I held that energy and literally I began as I went out for dinner during the night. I attracted different people, different experiences, married people that were traveling through Durango, women that were traveling on girls' trips. I began to have different conversations, and people would ask me, "Oh, you're married. Where's your husband?" I literally would say, "Oh, he's coming to visit soon." La 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 la. I was being my vision. And when you do that, things change. I was literally on the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, getting engaged 42 days with no plans to go to Paris, France, and no boyfriend. 42 days later, because I was being my vision, I manifested the experience that was like to my vision. And I felt it like I felt it. I felt like I was married. I felt like I was in a committed relationship. When you're a harmonious match, it must be yours. Then when you're doing this, notice any constriction that doesn't feel expanded. That means you're not in harmony. I noticed immediately that I wasn't in harmony with what I was designing and creating. So hopefully that story serves you a little bit. Okay, we're doing great on time. So I want to tell y'all a story about Jim Carrey. We're going to watch another clip from him in a minute, but he is the king of intentionality. He manifested his reality very, very effectively and very intentionally by being in the flow. So when Jim Carrey first got to Hollywood, no one who knew who he was, right? I don't know. I mean, y'all probably seen Ace Ventura. I mean, one of his very first films, but he had a dream. And I want you to move the needle into any place in your life that you can use this. But he had a dream. And his dream is he wanted to be the very first Hollywood leading male to make 10 million for a movie. And he had a check and he wrote a check to himself, to Jim Carrey, $10 million from the universe for playing a leading man in a movie down in the memo box. He was very intentional. It didn't stop there. See, when you're working with a vision, you have to revisit it every single day. You have to go back. You have to be in it. You have to show what you're being to attract it. So Jim Carrey had this and he put it in his wallet. And every single day he'd go to his waiter job and he would drive then up into the Hollywood Hills up Mulholland Drive. Whoever's been there, I mean, I have. It's a beautiful area. It's where Ellen DeGeneres lives. It's right on Calabasas, kind of that whole area where the Kardashians live. I'm not big followers, but it's wealthy, it's affluent, and it's where all the movie stars have lived. And he would drive to the very top. He'd sit there behind the Hollywood sign and he'd take out that check and he would put on the feeling that his agent had secured this contract for him and he was getting paid $10 million for being the leading man in a movie. First time ever that had happened. He was the first. And so he did this. He didn't do it once. He didn't do it twice. This is called gestation period. All dreams have a gestation period. Everything that you're looking to create in your life has a gestation period. I mean, look at pregnancy, 9 months. We're so eager. We can't wait for the baby to come, blah, 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 blah. 9 months. Seeds, you plant a seed in the ground. It opens up. A sprout comes out. That takes about 4 to 6 weeks. Gestation is actually the law of gestation. It's an overarching law of the universe. He didn't quit. He didn't stop when it didn't happen. He did this for 5 years. He did it, hear me out, every day. Every day he went to Mulholland Drive. And guess what happened? In year 5, he was made an offer. He had already done Ace Ventura. He had done some of these other things. He was made an offer. And he was made an offer of $10 million to be a leading man in the movie. And who knows what movie that is? The irony of it. Yeah, I love universe's sense of humor. God's sense of humor is hysterical. What movie was it? Type it in the chat. Because we're about to watch a clip from it. And when we watch this clip, I want you to think about what's possible for you. What's possible for your life? That's so good.
I came a long way just to see you, Mary. Just least you can do is level with me. What are my chances?
Not good.
You mean not good like 1 out of 100?
I'd say more like 1 out of a million.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah! I read you.
It's so awesome. It's so awesome. So that's the perspective you should have about your dreams. When things happen and you perceive it impossible or unattainable, lean into what if it was possible? What if it all worked out? What if it was more amazing than anything you ever thought it could be? And I mean this all the way around, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. What if it was better than you ever thought it could be? And what if it was easy? So now I'm going to invite y'all. I'm going to have my pen and paper. I have some new content and curriculum I would like to focus on tonight. But we're going to play some music for a few minutes. And you know the drill. Grab your pen and paper. I'm going to ask you to really do a little soul searching right now and think about what is your biggest discontent right now? What patterns playing out? Or maybe what would you love something to look like in a different way? Or what would you love it to look like, or create it to look like, design it to look like in a way that you would love? And we're going to journal for a couple of minutes. And that just means grab your pen and paper and just express, just write down anything that comes and then save it and reflect on it later. Because when you write things, usually things that express in a way, let me grab my timer. Thanks, Sean. In a way that is just completely different than if you were just talking about it or thinking about it. So I'm going to start some music. And for a couple of minutes, just write down, what would you love that part of your life to look like? If time, if money, health, relationships were a non-issue, what would your beautiful, amazing, if I had a magic wand and I'm waving it over you, would you love life to look like? So on your mark, Get set and start writing. About 10 seconds, so kind of wrap up your thoughts. All right, close that sentence, and you can put on there to be continued if I want to. You can continue this later, no doubt. All right. Great work, y'all. I just want to celebrate your intentionality in journaling. And if it's not something that you do on a regular basis, then do it. I mean, what do you have to lose? Nothing. If some things that you're doing right now aren't working, then we want to do different things to get different results so you can live a life that you love living. I absolutely love the life I love living, and I love teaching people how to do it. So with this, you have started, I some things down. You have started a new intentionality. So I invite you and encourage you to take this into your week this week as we move into Health and Wellbeing Week next week, and we really dig into some things. You're going to hear some things and some neat expressions that you've never heard before, especially if you've only gone through Dream Builder with me. So some neat, enlightened, inspired things. So life work, let's talk about it. This week, I would love to invite you to do this neat rewrite of the story of you. And if you've never done this, it's so eye-opening. It's so inspiring. And you're going to have a chance to really dig in, to reflect, and do some things. So you can go find some pictures. I actually have some pictures like from second and third grade in here, but go find pictures of yourself, of maybe a success story, maybe a time in your life that you nailed it. You know, maybe you won that award, or maybe you were celebrated in your workplace, or maybe you had your first child. I don't know, but you do. Let your knower know. It will express to you. And take that picture and then maybe take a screenshot of it. And you can do this digitally, or you can do it in a notebook. But I want you under that to write the person that you've become. So actually, I have a picture right here of all four of my kids, and I love them all so much. But that was a 30-year process. When my youngest graduated high school, my oldest kiddo turned 30 years old 45 days after my youngest graduated high school. So for me, if I took a picture of my kids when they were young, I would put something to the effect under there that I'm a badass mom, and my kids, I'm their home base. I'm their person, because that's pretty much true. So that's kind of how you're going to work that. But what we want to do is we want to differentiate between the past and the present. You have made progress with intentionality, but now we really want to wake up and we want to be really intentional about what we create tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and string that together and build an amazing life full of intentionality. for you. So get into the truth of that, do the work. And you know, as always, in the recap email, you're going to get the worksheet to do that on. So just know that. And then let's talk about action. I've got week 3 up there again. Obviously, I did not look at my slides very closely, but I want you to act boldly this week. We want to turn up the boldness of action toward our vision, toward our dream, and we want to turn down the quantity of action. And notice what that action is. Is that action fear-based? Is it worry? Is it dread? All the things that could go wrong? Or are you intentionally putting your attention on what could go right? What could really work out for you? What is fundamentally the vision that you want? So dial up the boldness of the action, dial down the quantity of the action. And I invite y'all all right now just to type an action. I see some of y'all are already doing it. Awesome. Let's look at this. Ace Ventura. Yeah. Oh no. Right, April, I see you. So what are some actions, y'all? Put it in here and then we'll put it in our thing. So what's an action that you're going to take this week that is going to take you in the direction of the life that you would love living, either personally, in your relationships, romantically, or with your family or with colleagues? Maybe what action are you going to take that's going to create a new business for you or a new lifestyle for you? What about health and well-being? What's some things you can do? So type in the chat, what's an action you're going to take? And then we'll talk about that next. I love that, Ernie. I see that. Spend more time with my daughter and play tennis. Yes, you know I love Paloma. She's a beautiful girl. So who else? What other actions you're going to take? I see some things popping up. So, oops, I lost the thingy. Yes, awesome. Invest in real estate. I love that. Sharing your mentorship program, Kirsten. I love that. Volleyball again. I love that. Awesome, Andrew. I see that. Yes, we've talked about that. Way to be, you guys. Nail it. Ground it right now. Say, I'm going to be this. Oh, I see that, April. You know I'm sending you big hugs. I love you so much. Absolutely, my dear. You know you've got my prayers and my support. So nail it. And when you put this in the chat, you're literally sending intentionality. You're saying, this is the step I'm going to take so I can do that. Yay, Jamie, I love that. Joining a new local gym. I'm so proud of you. Awesome. I know you've had a hard road with that. So as y'all finish that up, you know that we will put those in the chat next week. And if you don't put anything, no big deal. If you're watching this replay, write it down. I know we're missing several tonight, probably 15 or so. So if you're not here, don't give yourself permission to not do the action. It's in this action and doing what I'm asking you, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. That uncomfortable feeling is actually in the interest of your growth and of your highest potential, of you reaching an efficacy in your journey that's going to absolutely light you up like a light bulb. So, all right, so it's time to open for questions. If you have any questions tonight about any of the material or anything else going on in your life, please don't hesitate. And I'd love to answer those questions for you. If you have questions about how to manifest or create or design, we can do any of those things. It's so good to see y'all. I'm putting y'all out there on that. I'm going to get rid of this stop sharing. See y'all's beautiful faces. I see you all. April, Andrew, Jamie, Ernie, Brooke, Cody, Anna. Hi, John. Oh, I love that. Your first workout class, Dawn. I see that. Catherine, so good to see you tonight. All right, unmute yourself. Who has a question? Anybody tonight? Y'all are being so quiet. Yes, and Laura, yes, Laura. And Janice is on here too. I see Janice. Okay, who's got something in their life that they would love to flip or switch or create or design differently, blueprint it differently? I see Brooke too now. I feel like Alex Trebek, Jeopardy. Da, 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 da. Y'all are so quiet. All right. What is, Dawn? Let me see what you're saying. Ah, gotcha.
I think I have a question, but I'm not sure how to phrase it. I guess this last week Gabriel had his IEP and it was like 2 hours of intense interrogation, what felt like by like 6, 7 people. And I just really struggled with it night. Um,
Oh,
being a special needs mom, sometimes it's hard.
I'm so sorry, Laura Lee. I'm sorry. I know how hard this is.
So I don't know. I mean, I love him to death. I wouldn't exchange him for the world, but it's not always the easiest thing to do. So, I don't know, some support around that.
Well, first of all, you know how much I love your babies and how much I love you. And you're an amazing mom. You're so amazing. And he's just special. He's extra special. And so, with all of that said, when we lean into that energy of how amazing he is and how uniquely gifted God made him, then you can dial into the vision of it. And you can literally go to a new place and trust the process that we're not, this is what the puzzle pieces look like while it's all coming together, right? It's not our reality, it's a perception of things as they begin to process, right? And
Right.
one of my favorite phrases, and maybe this will support you a little bit, is it's darkest before the dawn. Things seem really, really shitty right before they get really, really good, right?
Right.
We know this. It's
Well,
the
he was
gestation.
rocking it. He was rocking his IP, and I'm like, wait, don't do so much. And he was like almost showing off. And then the lady
Oh,
asked me, one of the ladies asked me, hey, so what, as a parent, what are your inspirations for him? And I'm like, well, let me see. Olympic swimmer, professional skier. Like, what? I mean, what couldn't he do? Like, I want to like hold space for him to achieve whatever he wants to in his life and believe that he can and
absolutely.
whatever he would love, right? So I mean, it was good, but it just was a lot, and it just felt like most of the burden of everything that I have to do is on me for him, and it just seems like I'm always fighting for him in some way. And I just got to a point where I just felt a little like
Okay, so
having to be strong all the time,
let's take a
you
deep
know?
breath. Will you take a deep breath with me right now? Let's just take a nice deep breath.
Yeah.
Here's the great, great news, my dear precious friend. You don't have to do anything. It's already taken care of. Already taken care of. You just have to show up and be and stay in the vision of exactly what you would love for Gabriel's life to look like moving forward. He can be anything he wants to be. And you know what? And I know he absolutely can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a smile I know and love. I just love you so dearly. And guess what? God doesn't make mistakes. Universe doesn't make mistakes. He gave you those two beautiful children because you, not you can do it. He can do it as you and through you. That's how we're just a conduit of energy. That's how it works. You got this. No problem. It's all good.
Thanks. Thanks.
You bet. My pleasure. All right. Anybody else?
Okay, I'm
Yes,
gonna
Miss April. My two Colorado girls up there, April and Laura Lee.
I know. Look at us go.
I know. Look at y'all go.
Um, so I went through, oh man, some crazy stuff today, but for some reason, I don't know. I think all of this, because I was in the program with you a while ago. You were my life coach, and so that helped me through what I had to go through today, which I'm still going through it. So it's with my girl's dad, and he's unfortunately a very revengeful person. So if I won't be with him, he does things legally to try to get my kids taken away from me. And I know that I don't do anything wrong, so I know my kids won't be taken, but he's very unfortunately manipulative and will do things to, so I had to file a motion to restrict his parenting time because he only gets to see him on Sundays anyway. So I found out that he was drinking with my kids in the car and driving. So I had to ask for monitored, sobriety or so it's a really hard thing to go through because my kids now have to be either supervised, just that they have to go through this. And it's a lot.
So
So I
what,
just,
so April, how can I support you? What would you love some support in with this? And first of all, let me just say this. You and I have known each other for a little over a year. We've worked together for over a year. This April today would not be so calm and collected as you were a year ago. So let's
you're
just
so
celebrate
right.
that. Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you.
I just love the energy that you're putting out because it used to be I had to talk you off the shit show.
The ledge, yep. Don't jump. Yeah, yeah, you absolutely did.
So I'm so proud of
Thank
you.
you.
I just celebrate how, and you look beautiful tonight. I just celebrate you. Okay, so what question, how can I support you specifically to calibrate the energy around it?
So I don't know that it was much of a question, but like, if everybody can just, I don't know, send me some good vibes.
Absolutely, support,
and my
blessings,
kids.
light, and love. Absolutely.
Just,
So,
yeah,
and that's what we are as partners in believing and a community of people that support each other and are like-minded. So I'm going to tell you right now, though, your energy says to me, you're handling. You got this. You got this. You're doing great. Absolutely. Absolutely. Beautiful. All right. Catherine, that's sweet. Laura Lee, Catherine put a nice chat for you in there. All right. Anyone else have some things? Jamie, I'm excited for you that you joined the gym. So proud of you. All right. Anyone else have any other questions for tonight? Before we hop off, we've got a few minutes left. Good night, Catherine. So good to see you. All right. If there's no other questions, I'm going to let y'all go tonight. Y'all are being all quiet tonight. Thanks for speaking. Y'all are my joy. You are my heart. Thank you for being here tonight. Go out. We'll start Health and Wellbeing Week next week. Some of y'all are in different places in your life mastery. Don't worry about that. It's an abundant universe. You can have, it's in addition to everything. So enjoy the curriculum and trust the process. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. So good night, everybody. Thank y'all for playing full out tonight. Y'all are amazing. Bye, Andrew. Bye, Kirsten. Bye, Jamie. Bye, April. Bye, Cody. Bye, Eileen. Bye, everybody. Love you bunches. Good night.